Welcome back to another quick review. Let's take a look at another game where we get a great hand and play it very badly, but get rewarded anyways. There are some interesting lessons I think you can learn from this kind of an experience, and in a lot of cases, they can be the wrong lesson. And so at the end, we'll take a look at Mortal and see what it says about our play and what lessons we should really have learned from this experience. So as you can see, the hand starts out really nicely. We've got two White Dragon Doras, and the rest of the hand is looking great. We even got our Seatwind pair, so we can just go here. And that's pretty much what happens. Our first draw, we actually get the third White Dragon Dora. The hand is going incredible. Then turn two, we get kind of a useless tile. This is fine. We throw away the 6. We get to pawn the Seatwind. This is great. Then we draw a red 5. Now we can kind of use it. It goes nicely into a 1-3-5 shape. So already looking pretty great. We get a 3. And here there's an interesting kind of point. Actually, no, this is gonna happen later. So yeah, this 3 is okay. I think I throw this one. Yeah, we just throw this one out. And then we get to pair up the red 5. Perfect. So now we've got amazing shapes, almost in Tempai. And here we are, Tempai. The very next turn. So now here comes the decision. We can throw the 3-so or the 5-so. So if we throw the 3-so, we're going to be waiting on 4-4-sos. If we throw the 5-so, we're going to be waiting on 2 5-sos. And actually, no, one of the 5-sos is out, or one of the ones is out. Okay, yeah. We have 2 5-sos that we can wait on, and a single 1-mon. So 3 tiles versus 4 tiles, but this wait includes a terminal that's already been cut. Which is, it could be in the dead wall, but if it's not, it's almost guaranteed to come out. So what do you do here? Do you go for the 4-tile wait or the 3-tile wait with the terminal? I choose to go with the 3-tile wait. So I throw away the 3, and I'm in Tempai for the 1 and the 5. Now I immediately start kind of regretting this because now my mind starts going and I'm thinking, oh boy, that 1-mon, that's probably in the dead wall, the remaining one. And at 5-so, well, that's very unlikely to come out, right? I mean, it certainly might, but oh, it's definitely not guaranteed. So here we go. We draw the 1. We throw that back. Then we draw the 7. So we get a chance to pivot here back. So we can throw away the 5 and wait on the 6-so now. So what do we do now? Do we pivot? And a few turns have passed, right? So it's a little bit later now. A few more tiles have been thrown. Does the calculus change? Do we throw this out? Or do we stay with our weight? I choose to stay with our weight. But it's not really obvious whether that's the correct move, right? So we throw that out. And here comes a useless tile. We can throw that. Another useless tile, we can throw that too. And here comes another decision point. So now we can pivot to wait on 4 2-mons versus the current weight that we have. So what do you do here? At this point, many tiles have passed. I've been in Tempai since turn 7, so quite a lot of tiles have been drawn. Not so many tiles left to be drawn. And a 2-mon is still pretty likely to be thrown by someone, right? At this stage in the game, it's not impossible. It's still pretty close to the edge. So 4 2-mon tiles or 1 1-mon tile, and so I choose to pivot here. So I throw away the 1, and I throw the 1. My Shimocha throws that, and then Toyman throws that, and then the backfire, right? So Kamicha throws the 1-mon. I don't know whether he threw that because I threw it, or because like is he folding here? I guess we can take a look actually. Why did he throw that? He drew that tile, and yeah, it doesn't go into his hand. He probably was going to throw it no matter what, right? So yeah, huge backfire. But was it right to pivot? That's the question. Yeah, despite the fact that we experienced this backfire, was this the right move? So now I draw a three. I can pivot once again but at this point it really doesn't make sense to pivot to wait on the three and the five, right? Um, so let's go through this a little bit slower again because I think something interesting happens with the other discards. So we get the 9 that we don't need. Throw. There's an 8. And here comes the 5. So now both the 1 mon and one of the 5 so's have come out. Huge, huge backfire, huge regret on my part, right, for pivoting from that way. And then the north comes, and then I draw this, right? Of course, we have to throw it. Unfortunate, but what can you do? We're already holding a Hanuman, so we have our Seat Wind, 3 doors, White Dragon, and a red 5. So this hand is already huge. We don't need any more value. Another Han doesn't do anything for us. Easy to throw. Maybe not so easy at this stage in the game. This is a red 5 being thrown 3 turns before the game ends. So kind of likely to deal in. It's not, but we have to push the Hanuman, right? There's no options here. And then, oh, I skipped ahead too fast. All right, let's just go through this a little bit slower. So now, yeah, that happens. That's okay. Here's the interesting thing. So Kamicha Richie's with the Dora tile, and we have a choice. We can con this tile. We can ignore it. We can con, and we can even fold here with the Doras, but of course that should not be what anybody's thinking at this stage, I think. So yeah, what do you do? Do you con, or do you just let that pass and draw normally? What I did was con, and it's a good thing I did because I drew the 2 mon after the con and got rewarded. Yeah, and it's instead of just a Hanuman, now we hit a Paimon because of the robbing a con, not a robbing con, but after a con, and Tsumo gives us the Baimon. So incredible stuff. However, and you might think, okay, well, I made some wrong decisions here, but it all paid off in the end. But what were the wrong decisions? So let's take a look at that now in Mortal. Okay, so now we're in Mortal, so let's take a look at how the AI evaluates our play here. So here we go, we start out, we make the right discard with the 8, then we make the wrong discard with the 6 mon. We should have, I guess, discarded the pay. I think I'm not sure. I think I just threw the 6 mon because we have enough shapes. There are 5 shapes already in our hand. We can call this hand very easily, so we can call all of these shapes. They're pretty easy to call. So like the 2 1 mons, this 2 3, certainly a 1 pin could be thrown. Certainly a 2 so could be thrown. So and the same with the 2 nons here. So I have absolutely no reason in my thinking to keep any extraneous tiles, especially ones that are sort of dangerous. Now, Sekigiri is like too early of a thing at this point in the game, certainly, but I don't think throwing the 6 mon and the 5 pin at this point is wrong. I'm not really sure why you'd want to leave yourself additional options here. Like these edge shapes are actually kind of nice. You can even go for Chanta. So yeah, not really necessary to keep this, but the AI still prefers to throw the pay. So Okay, so we pawn the non. This is correct, of course. We throw the 5 pin. So at this point, yeah, it just wants to cut everything that we don't need. It no longer wants to cut the pay as badly as it wants to cut the 5 pin. Um, and yeah, no, we throw the pay when we draw the red 5. Now that we want to keep a little bit because, well, we might draw around that, and that will be an improvement. And so yeah, the 3 we don't need. We skipped a pawn on the 1 mon because it's our only pair at this point, so we don't improve anything by pawning that, so that's correct. And then we draw the 5 so to pair up this red 5. I throw out the 1, and the AI actually recommends keeping the 1-3-5 shape. That makes a lot of sense. However, it allows for us to actually end up discarding the red 5, which I don't want to do. So I throw the 1 so to greed for the points. And of course, you don't need to greed in this hand. It's already huge. However, the hand as it stands without the red 5 is only 5 Han. With the red 5, it's 6 Han. And that's quite a big difference. So I think, and the AI doesn't hate throwing the 1 so here. It's not its top choice, but it's second choice. And for me, it was a pretty easy first choice. And so here comes the really big decision. Now, you may not have thought that after things developed the way they did, but this is really, I think, the key decision point in the whole game that kind of dictates how things spin out of control a little bit later on. And so, yeah, the AI pretty strongly recommends throwing the 5 so here and just waiting on the 4 so. It doesn't recommend making this like single tile 1 mon terminal wait. It's probably right. Now, from what we saw in the discards that came, I don't believe the 4 so came out. Uh, but you're not really supposed to be results oriented with these kind of decisions. So this is I think the important thing to learn is that even like with a game like this where you make like and I made a number of wrong decisions here that still ended up in me benefiting tremendously. Like I got a Baimon out of this Hanuman hand purely by luck, right? It was not the result of correct play, I would say. At least, for some parts of the play. And this I think is the key decision. So the very first choice I made with the Tempai was um, reasonably inaccurate. Now AI doesn't hate the choice that I made; it's still a pretty strong second choice, but it's definitely potentially where things really like spun out of control for this hand. And so the next choice is easy. We cut the 1. Next choice is easy. It does not like pivoting to the 6 so wait, which I think is because maybe the 6 so is already cut. I don't see it. But it doesn't like that at all. So, which is pretty interesting. Oh no, never. Yeah, which I don't really understand because just a turn ago or 2 turns ago, it really wanted to wait on the 4 so, but it really doesn't want to wait on the 6 so. The same weight, I think, and theoretically it's symmetrical tile. So, but yeah, the AI does make these kind of strange decisions sometimes that don't make sense about entirely symmetrical seeming situations. Now, it may have something to do with the Suji tiles or like other tiles discarded around the upper Sozu versus the lower Sozu. I don't know. That might be why. Um, it's kind of beyond my skill level at this point to understand that decision. And so here we throw the taunt, of course, easy call, easy decision as well. And then here comes the next really big decision. Do we pivot? So I chose to pivot, which in retrospect, right? Because as soon as I pivoted, it backfired. Both the 1 mon and the 5 so came out. However, the AI does recommend this pivot. It's not a strong recommendation. It's very close. Like if we look here, it's they're the values are extremely close for these two calls. So you can go either way on this. But technically speaking, the pivot wasn't bad. It was a decent move and actually a slightly better move than staying with our weight. And then yeah, we draw another 3. We can pivot to that, but of course AI doesn't even consider that option. It's silly. Throw the 9 so, and then we get the pawn offer. Of course, yeah, we don't do that. We throw away the red 5. And here's the next really interesting one, right? So this is the decision that so I conned without almost without thinking. It was like, of course I'll con this Dora. I'm in Tempai. I'm conning the Dora. However, it's actually a pretty low valuation by the AI. It wants to skip the con. And so I guess because this is a dealer Ricci, and so as we con, we will give him an extra Oradora, um, and potentially deal in as well, right? If we don't fold. So I guess the AI considers the con to be counterproductive. We already have a huge hand. It's already Hanuman. You don't need to try to make it a a Baimon. And in fact, the only way you will is if you sumo right after the con, which is what ends up happening. But it shouldn't be what you expect to happen. So in expectation, you would maybe get an extra Han, but it doesn't really do anything. Essentially, you're still stuck with a Hanuman hand most likely, right? If you just get one extra Han. So that's this is another thing that I think you can learn the wrong lesson from when you get situations like this. Now, the con seemed like the natural thing to do, but it really wasn't correct. The expectation on it giving me more value is negligible. The expectation on it giving the dealer reaching more value is much higher, I think. And so, yeah, again, the wrong decision, but it ends up paying off. I get a Baimon, and things are good. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this analysis, and I'll see you in the next one.